Al, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Count. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So it's exciting start of another 2020 series.
Yeah, there has been too many of them, but I think SA20 have cracked the code. They bought the entire set of IPL teams in, and they have done their publicity well as well. So I think it's going to go real big.
Yeah, and also the IPL teams owning the South Africa T20 teams is
Hmm.
really creating that the extension from the fans to feel
Hmm.
certain loyalty. Right, I'm already
Hmm.
feeling my team is Joburg, for example.
Yeah, you can see that on Twitter and social media too. People have started relating to Joburg Super Kings as much as they do with Chennai Super Kings, for example, because it's eventually Super Kings, and when you're named Super Kings, your fans would want to win. No matter it could be an under 19 team or it could be a college level team, but as long as it's Super Kings, people would want them to win.
And that's the most exciting part for me, meaning globalization of audience like Manchester United. That's happening for Super Kings,
Yeah.
right? You could be from Joburg, you could be from Chennai, and all tomorrow, you could own teams in every country that plays Series 2020 cricket,
Yeah.
and it would be amazing to see that yellow around the globe, and so is the case for the other teams as well.
Yeah, I mean it has been interesting to see Chennai Super Kings fans talk about Donovan Ferreira, Luis Duploy, and all of these kind of players, and how the team is beginning to gel together and everything. It's been interesting last couple of months actually with the
Yeah,
SA20.
yeah. I for one never thought that I'll put these two city names together, Mumbai and Cape Town. So
Yeah.
you always put the Cape Town with San Francisco, Sydney because it has similar weather patterns, Mediterranean. It's got wine country. Their beaches are very cold, so there are a lot of similarities when you put these cities together. But putting Mumbai and Cape Town brings about a completely different dimension for a sports fan.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the home deck is concerned, it's a lot similar. I mean, there is going to be a lot of runs in both their home venues. So we are expecting a lot of runs today. There will be some help for paces up front, but I think after that to see the likes of David Miller, Owen Morgan, and Dual Bruce playing here, Liam Livingstone may not be available. We are not sure of it yet, but to see all of these players playing at this venue, it's a lot of value as a viewer.
Yeah, talk to us more about Duval Ruiz, the baby AB. Mumbai Indians seem to have snared him.
Yeah.
Talk to us a bit more about his exploits and his
I think he's a world
potential.
class talent. There is no doubt about it. I mean, when he played the under 19 World Cup, his teammates had a board that showed Baby AB. When he was playing at the under 19 level, his teammates were fanboys of him. So that's how good he was. And even in the tournament, he was a level above, he's a cut above anyone else who played the tournament. So it's no wonder that Mumbai Indians have got hold of it. The world has got hold of it, and even AB himself is like when he tweets about Dual Bro is so much in love with it, and he sees the potential too. So he is a world class talent, one who could play spin well, one who could hit sixes, and one who could also. He's one of those players. I think going ahead, we'll see him. He could play from 1 to 4, any positions he could play. So that's the kind of potential we're speaking about, and he's capable of pretty much anything, and he can also bowl as well. So that's funny thing.
But I'm not sure if Mumbai Indians have cracked the captaincy code though, because Rashid Khan, captain for Afghanistan for a short while, gave it up. Nabi took it over. Again, Nabi has stepped down, and it's been given to Rashid Khan. It's
Yeah.
very similar to what used to happen in Pakistan, where the captaincy used to rotate between Wasim Akram and Bakar Yunus.
Yeah.
But Rashid Khan, as a captaincy material, to kind of lead a team with such talent, is not proven there.
Yeah.
So
We are
Mumbai
not.
Indians to trust his leadership abilities, there must be something in him.
Yeah, I think Mumbai Indians like these big names, be it in auction or be it in terms of making decisions. I think they are a team that likes to surprise. we have got this big name, we are going to throw him up. That's the kind of reasoning I think behind the decision. But it would have been interesting to see the captaincy given to someone like Rassi van der Dussen. For example, he's a senior South African player. He's going to be a permanent role, permanent fixture in the side. And Rashid Khan, even in general, he's someone who wants to. He looks like who wants someone who wants to just bowl and be the bowling superstar that he is, and not be overloaded with all of these responsibilities, additional responsibilities, press meets and think tanks and everything. I think Rassi van der Dussen would have been an excellent choice, but it'll also be interesting to see what Rashid Khan does.
Yeah, because it was interesting because Sunrisers did not think he was captaincy material. When they had to choose between him and Kane Williamson, so eventually they had to let the Kane Williams also go. So it will be an interesting thing to see how Rashid Khan's captaincy pans out. In the series. So that's something I am very keen to keep an eye out for. So let me share my screen. Having said that, Newlands as a stadium is one of my favorite stadiums, and we used to think about that stadium only once in few years, and when in India toured, South Africa, or any of the big teams toured South Africa. But to talk about Newlands again, that in the 2020 context with Mumbai Indians and the Super Kings playing there, it's nothing but more joy that we are talking about these fantastic cricket stadiums and fans in these countries more often than before, and that's something definitely 2020 cricket has brought about.
Yeah, I think these are kind of venues you want to see T20 being played at Johannesburg and Newlands, etc. And it has been disappointing that it took so long for SA20 to have a proper tournament up like this, but they've finally had a crack at it, and it seems like they've started on a really strong note.
Yeah, and also having a strong 2020 structure, domestic structure, seems to help Test cricket a lot. Like how it has helped India, of course, Australia and England, right after the 3-4 players who are Test cricket specialists, but the other 7 they are multi-format players. So hopefully, given the recent performance of South Africa and Australia, they had problems, right? So even on a wicket like Sydney, which wasn't assisting much pace or bounce, it still Cummins could get Dean Elgar caught on the leg side, right? Gloving him, caught on the leg side and getting an awkward bounce on his body. So you would play a lot more of these balls in nets, hitting those balls in games, balls that are directed at your body, because those are your dot balls, right? 1 or 2 balls that the fast bowler is expected to bowl. And that practice and being under various leadership during these 2020 tournaments, I think it kind of overall boosts the player capabilities to manage a lot of situations in Test cricket, and which was quite evident, during the recently concluded South Africa series. And a lot of these players have just played the Sydney Test match and taken a long flight, and they've come in for the 2020 series. For Rabada, for example, in the Cape Town team, and winning in the Paarl Royals team. I don't know how much of their tired frame of mind is going to affect their performance. But this is Cape Town's 11, right? Why don't you talk to us quickly to the 11? Definitely the new names that, for example, I'm not aware of, right? Like Ryan Tickleton, Grant Rolofson. So that would be interesting to hear from you.
I mean, there's a lot of talk about how Mumbai is a team that has had a lot of superstars in their Cape Town team. But if you look at it, Rickelton is one of the top talents in South African cricket. Although his T20 numbers have not been great, his potential has been struggling to meet his potential. The hype that was surrounding him a couple of years back when there was the Mzansi League that was floating around, and similarly, Rolofson is a top talent as well. Although he's not the other 2 formats or his strongest suit, he's also struggling a bit with his form, which is why we have that dark orange color near him. It indicates that it's closer to red than it's to yellow or green. so he's struggling with form. And Rassi van der Dusen himself is coming back after a long layoff. He's just had a few matches in, so and this is going to be the first major T20 tournament that he's going to be part of after a long time, in a long time. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for him to adapt and start scoring at the rate he usually does. He's someone who, if he gets his eye in, say if he's on 25 ball 30, then that we are looking at 50 ball 80. He's someone who could score at a higher rate in the second half, at an insane rate in the second half of his innings. It'll also be interesting to see how they accommodate Dewald Brewis. There is this attempt that's going on in the South African domestic circuit to convert him into an opener, but I think he's more suited to a middle order role, especially for a squad that also has two professional openers in Rickleton and Rolfson. And in this match, we do not have a clear info of whether Liam Livingstone is available or not. So if he isn't available as well, then you'd really need Dewald Rubis at number 3 or Rassi van der Dusen at number 4, because that's where the runs are going to come at Cape Town. It's not going to come in the power play. It's going to come after the power play, and you'll need your best options in the lower middle order. I think this is also why someone like Sam Curran is going to be a really important fantasy pick today, because he's going to bat in a phase where run scoring is going to be easy, and he's also in great form. And apart from that, he'll also be their designated dead bowler as well. So they are struggling a little bit with their 7 and 8. Linde and Smith, Linde is not going to give you a lot of overs on a deck like Cape Town, but he'll be really valuable when he's going to decks like Durban, Paarl, and Port Elizabeth. And it'll be interesting to see. I think Jofra Archer is playing today. It's been confirmed lately. I think it's been confirmed. So Jofra Archer should be taking the place of Odean Smith, but he's only available for 2 games for the entire season. That's how England are managing their workload. If he gets through these two games, he'll be selected for the England South Africa ODIs that's happening later this month. And then the team is completed by Rashid Khan, Duan Jansen, and Kagiso Rabada. Rashid Khan and Kagiso Rabada, I don't think we need a lot of explaining, but Duan Jansen, I think he's the brother of the Marco Jansen, and he's been picked for 3.3 million rand, I guess, which is a big number, which is as big as any of the players have been picked. Apart from, there are a couple of players in the 5 million range, but apart from that, that's as high as you could go. But it shows how much Mumbai trust in Duan Jansen. But maybe this may not be the season where he really delivers, but he's a great future potential. And they could be looking at having someone like Bjorn Hendricks filling in for this season. And at some point, if not right away, I think I see Bjorn Hendricks, a reliable left-arm new ball pacer, coming into the picture.
Yeah, their bowling attack is almost like the world 11 bowling attack.
Yeah, I've always dreamt of having a Jofra Archer, Jasprit Bumrah, and Rashid Khan together. Mumbai came really close to it, but it seems like it's not too bad. Kagiso Rabada, it's not much of a degrade. I mean, it's not at a lot lower level than Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah. I mean, brilliant bowlers to watch them in South African tracks. I wish Archer played more games this season, but he's just coming off a long injury. I would expect Bumrah to be treated the same way by Mumbai Indians. It's just they're accepting to treat Archer this way. And Bumrah coming back, and again he got injured with a stiff a quad or thigh muscle. So looks like the next availability is only going to be for IPL, and I hope they don't burn him out because we need him for the 1 days.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of what Ashley Giles said of Ollie Stone, who is also in the Mumbai squad. You should use these ballers like Ferraris, not like the usual cars that you go around take it out every day. Use them like a special player.
I like that analogy. So I was about to say that just talk to us briefly about the Newlands track, because you're talking about fast bowlers here. Does it give assistance to a bounce, or the boundaries, square boundaries deep? Give us some insights, please.
I think Newlands is basically twofold. First, you'll get a lot of wickets in the power play, and once the power play is done, I mean, when we talk about power play, we're talking about the first 1 to 4 overs, for example, because that's when the new ball does things. Because 5 and 6, the new ball stops doing anything, so it doesn't really mean anything. So we, when we consider park play, we usually consider overs 1 to 4. This is what we will have in the matchup section. That's why we have split it into 1 to 4 and not 1 to 6. But after the power play is done, if you could see, there is no green marker for wickets. That basically indicates bowlers will struggle to pick up wickets. So it's going to be a lot of runs. And if you also see, the assistants or batters are going to be even more threatening in the second innings with a couple of greens, and that is why teams batting second have won a lot of matches at this venue, because it's really difficult to stop batters here.
Yeah. So, irrespective of how good Rabada and Archer are, and unless they
Mm,
have, 3, 4 different types of deliveries,
mm,
to keep rotating and keep the batsman guessing, otherwise the batsman is just going to wait for the length
mm.
and play in an area that would get them the maximum number of runs in a
Yeah.
track like this, where you can pretty much trust the bounce,
Mm.
and the count on the ball coming to the bat.
Yeah, I mean, if you get out of power play at say 42 for 0 or 45 for 1, I think that's job done. You do not need to aim a lot higher. Just get out of it without losing wickets, and there is plenty on offer after the new ball pace threat is done.
So, in terms of a par score, frustrating score
Mm,
about 165,
mm,
do you think with some of the recent games in BBL where the par scores has been crossed with ease,
mm,
that year on year, like adjusting for inflation, that
mm,
we should kind of increase the par score by about 8 to 10%, given how good the newer batsmen are, more capable of playing 360, right? So more homework is done into the tracks and so on and so
mm.
forth. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
for a
think.
team to take into, hey, I see 165, but I
Mm,
think the rate at which 2020 is going, we
yeah,
should
yeah, mm,
actually
mm.
aim for 180
Yeah, yeah.
to be a
When
par
it's,
score.
yeah. Mm. I think when the first inning score is at an average of 165, I think, yeah, it's true that team should be aiming for 185, because they need the extra 10 to 15 to 20 runs cushion to ball with it. Because if it's 165, it will be easily chased down. But with 185, that's the extra runs pressure that's going to be working on players. They're going to look at it as a score that cannot be easily chased down, and then that sort of brings in the scoreboard pressure into play.
Yeah, it's the additional 20 runs which kind of decides the win lose margin
Yeah.
between teams.
Mm,
It's like the Deval Brew is scoring a 7 ball 30, or
mm,
actually going for those no balls. So
mm,
those ultimately become the difference between the winning team and the losing team, because those are those 20 runs,
mm,
and each team needs that batsman number 7, 8 who could you know kind of bat in those 19th, 20th overs,
mm.
and get them at least 20 odd runs in each one of those overs for them to really finish big. So
Yeah.
batting depth is extremely critical, which looks like Paarl Royals have, right? A lot of batting.
Yeah. Paul Royals do
David
have.
Miller,
Yeah.
Morgan, Butler in big
Mm.
names.
Yeah, I think someone like Owen Morgan has found form of late too, because we thought after his international retirement, the struggle he had at the international level, it's sort of like he's going to have a really difficult last couple of years, even in the domestic circuit. But he was brilliant in the 100, which surprised a lot of us, and it speaks a lot about how taking a break could help for a lot of these cricketers. They play too much cricket, and all Owen Morgan needed was to retire from international cricket and take a bit of break, and there he was at his very best. And he was as good as he's ever been. So to have him here, I think there's a lot of players in the fantasy auctions we have played, in the fantasy games we have played, they're all underestimating Owen Morgan's impact. But I think it's going to be a really key player for them, especially on decks like Cape Town and Johannesburg.
Yeah, and also that's a good, interesting point you make. And like how Tom Brady is showing the way, I
Mm,
think if cricketers after, like, say, Morgan retiring, taking that entire pressure off his shoulders, having to captain,
mm,
you know, kind of have take a break and still practice and be on top of the game to come back
yeah,
and wanting to continue to play like what Dhoni is doing, like trying to reinvent themselves.
mm,
It's really brilliant to see. Again, it's happening only because of 2020 cricket. Otherwise, all their careers would have been over when they were 36, 37 years old.
true. Yeah,
Because Test cricket demands you to, have that conditioning to kind of get through 5 days
mm,
and then do it repeatedly, and in a way, your uh, fitness needs to be that you don't get injured. So again,
yeah,
2020 cricket has been a blessing in that sense,
yeah,
so
true
that
that.
we continue to see our heroes in action.
Mm,
So on the bowling department, you have obviously Shamsi, who's been having a good time of late. And looking Ngidi again, given the strike, he has a lot of slow balls and variations. So
mm.
apart from them, who are the other bowlers in the Pulse team?
It's not going to be easy for Paul away from home, but their home deck is something that supports spin. So when you have two quality spinners in the form of Shamsi and John Fortin, where who is like the Fortin, like the kind of pairing that Shamsi and Maharaj formed for the international team, these two spinners work well together. 14 is someone who can act as a counter to right-handers, and Shamsi spins the ball both ways to left-handers. So it's going to be a nightmare for opponents to face this spin duo at home, but away from home, and not to mention Ngidi slower balls. So they are going to be a threat at home as well. But away from home, they are going to struggle because with only Corbin Bosch and Feluquayo as your fourth and fifth bowlers, it's not going to be easy. They're going to concede a few runs, but that shouldn't be a big problem because they also have a batting unit that comes more into play away from home. So it's kind of like they kind of compensate. Their bowling unit works exceptionally well at home, but when they go away from home, while the bowling unit struggles, the batting unit can compensate for it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Dane Villas is again a player they paid big bucks for, right?
Yeah. Hey, it is a bit bizarre. I mean, wherever Dane Villas goes, he gets paid a lot, or he gets picked as the number one pick in the draft as one of the higher order picks in the draft. He's a steady player. He's a good player. He's a seasoned campaigner. All that is good, but to pay 3.3 million for someone who is a bit more than an accumulator, he's not strictly an accumulator, but he's more of an accumulator to more of an accumulator than a big hitter if you compare it that way. So to see them pay 3.3 million for him, especially when they have Josh Butler keeping wickets as well, it was bizarre for me. But I don't know what the internal equation was, and he's also going to struggle playing in the role that he's slotted here at number six. He should be someone who is playing at number three or number four.
And also paying big bucks for a player for a slot, it pretty much kind of seals that player for that slot for the rest of the season.
True.
Even
Yeah.
though there could be other talent, waiting,
Hmm.
because you paid big bucks, right? So otherwise, your
Hmm.
question saying that why would you pay big money and not play him?
Yeah, and that's kind of a huge pressure on franchises to justify their decision to pay. So the owners will come and ask, "You paid a lot of money for him, and why are you not playing?" So that's something that's going to decide Dean Willard's spot, and that has put them in a difficult choice already. They'll have to decide between Evan Jones and Bihan Lube. So only one of them can play in the 11, and both in the 11 could add a lot more value to the side than Dane Villas and one of them in the 11.
Yeah, you rather want to build up to a big buy in your fifth or
Mm,
sixth season. Getting a
mm,
lot of money on your first season, puts that pressure and expectations on you to perform,
mm.
and also puts you on a spotlight for the opposition team to come up with plans for you because they know that if they get the highest paid guy cheaply
Mm,
out, that puts that
mm,
extra pressure on that team.
mm. Yeah. Uh, Sorry, I think I missed it.
No, I was saying that for it kind of puts the player also in a kind of a spotlight for the
Mm,
opposition team to come up with plans for you
mm,
because they know that if they get the highest paid guy pressure on the rest of the players, on a particular
mm,
match for the rest of the season on the player or
mm.
on the franchise,
Yeah. That-
to somehow then enable the player to perform. Then
mm,
you, as a franchise, then you're more and more skewed towards a player rather than taking care of a team,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
ultimately means demise for that particular
Mm.
season to win the
Yeah, yeah.
trophy.
You hear this tag on commentary a lot when something like this happens. Can the player justify the price tag? Can the player justify the price tag? That's all that you hear during the entire season. So that kind of gets them to. I mean, I recently listened to an interview from a player who's bought for such a price in IPL, and he says that he wants to shut out all of this and just concentrate on his skills. So it's not going to be easy to shut out. We know that it's going to be thrown at our faces. So these are the challenges, mental challenges that players will be facing when they're in a situation like this.
Yeah. And I would wish if players would get paid for such a high value, they would then get a personal coach, like give do a 50-50 rep share. That okay, I pay 1 million
Mm,
to get a personal coach who would be my mental conditioning coach, who would be my
yeah,
a skill coach,
mm,
who will take me through the season.
yeah.
Otherwise,
That's what.
you could feel little lost, as the season progresses.
Mm,
If your performances are not coming good.
yeah, it's often overlooked. It's seen as a skill-based game, but you'll have to be mentally at a good position to be able to execute that skill. So that's important.
Yeah. So Jason Roy is again a star player
Mm,
coming into the playing 11.
yeah.
So how has been his form of late?
He's been struggling for a while now, but in his last innings, he scored a 50. So if we could carry that into this tournament, he was playing for the Gladiators in the Abu Dhabi T20, I guess, and he has scored a 33 ball 57. So that sounds it's also a decent bowling attack that he faced. So if he could bring that form into this game and through go take it through the series, that would be a major boost for this side because they wouldn't have been expecting Jason Roy to be in form and they picked him because he's been struggling. But if he finds his form and if we know Jason, how good he can be, if he could take that form and go through the tournament, it could be game changing for Paul Royals in this tournament.
Yeah, looks like the toss is going to be anytime now. Going to be a great tournament. They're going to have a fantastic start. It looks like given the lineup of teams,
Mm,
and the quality of talent we are
mm,
looking at
mm.
itself it kind of gives me a feeling that it's going to be a phenomenal tournament.
Yeah, I
And
think yeah.
like
Mm.
we
I'm excited as well because of the franchise concept and some of the international players in play here.
Yeah. So let's quickly check if the toss is done. I don't think the toss is done yet. So I just want to go a bit into the favorite part of the sheets that you send, the fantasy cheat sheet.
Mm,
Gives on a snapshot of the player performances.
mm,
So if you look at for Cape Town, so they're really good. Their players were really good with the strike rate.
yeah,
But they need players like like you said, Rassi Van and Rollefson to higher up the order, play those
mm,
24-25 balls so that
yeah,
those coming down the order can
mm,
then really explode. So their
yeah,
performances are extremely key.
yeah. Take through the power play and make sure the top order isn't damaged. There's not a lot of pressure on the middle order to deliver, but once it's done, and you could see the strike rates up there. Devolver is 151, Livingstone 146, and there is a couple of 140s below that as well. So there is a lot of depth in the side, and especially in the match Archer plays. Archer will also act as a lower middle order hitter. So that's something that they'll be looking to cash in on for the top three to see through. Rolex and Rassi Van Anderson are suited for the role. They are someone who take a lot of time to get going, but once they get going, and if they get through the first 6 overs, it'll be interesting.
So now I expect them to accumulate 40 to 50 runs. Therefore, it kind of increases their fantasy potential right there.
Yeah, with a 30-run bonus on most sides, all they need to do with bat is 25 balls to get into a score that's going to be really difficult for those who do not have these players to compensate. I think the toss is happening.
Yeah, the toss is going on. Let's check.
Rashid Khan has won the
Yeah,
toss.
interesting. So talking about Rashid Khan, if we saw in the BBL games that team started playing out very carefully. He's not been among wickets. How good would these South African tracks assisting this style of leg spin?
The whole tournament can be split into two different ways. I mean, there are three decks: Durban, Paarl, and Port Elizabeth, where there is going to be a lot of help for spinners, and they cannot be playing out Rashid Khan on those decks. But on these decks, on the deck for today, for example, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Centurion, it's easy. It will be easier to play him out. They could do what the BBL teams are doing to him in the Big Bash.
Interesting. So talking about strike rate, all the way to Rashid Khan, even Linde or Lind, how do you say his name?
Linde. Yeah,
They have
George
healthy
Linde.
strike rates, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
140, 140.
something that's not here is someone like even Duan Johnson and Kagiso Rabada can hit those big shots. So it's pretty much a lineup of 11 players
Yeah.
who could bat. So it's not going to be easy for opponent bowlers to contain them.
So with that, Rashid Khan hopefully has decided to bat first. Oh, they're going to bowl first. Interesting
Yeah,
choice.
we talked about the advantage that chasing teams had. So maybe that's playing on their mind where its batting gets even easier in the second innings. So it could be, if you notice that, in the right side.
Team batting second, win 60% of the games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's playing a role.
and also batting gets easier in the second innings after the power play.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense, I guess. So Rashid Khan has opted to bowl, and we're going to have the prospect of Rabada and Archer bowling in tandem.
Yeah, I think Livingstone is not available. That's something that it's confirmed. It's been confirmed now.
Okay, so yeah, Livingston recovers soon.
Rabada is not
And
playing too.
Karan is
Okay, what we discussed. Quick
Rabada.
turnaround.
Yeah, with the travel and Archer being available, that makes sense to,
Mm.
yeah, risky to have him for this game immediately coming from Australia.
It's a wise decision.
Yeah, it's really good to see captains and teams thinking of player management.
Mm.
Miller says they would have fielded as well.
Yeah.
So as we do that, let me bring up my phone and see if we can join the contest on Fanex. So
Mm.
they have a cash contest today for 5,000 rupees
Yeah.
for today's game.
Mm.
So let me bring that up. So here is the cash contest, which is on the top for the Cape Town versus Royals game
Mm.
at Newlands today for 5,000 rupees. So let's look at the price structure, the price payout structure. So the winner gets 2,000 rupees, which is pretty cool. So
Mm.
I think there's a fun contest where we just have to pick three stats, sixers, right? So whom would you pick? The all Bravers.
I think with Josh Butler, I think it's a safe option. Joel Boyce is younger, but I think he could have his day out as well. But I think Josh Butler is a clear front runner for this game.
Okay. So your pick is Josh Butler, and they're batting first. So we will soon know whether that comes good. And runs scored, we spoke about Rassi Vander and also the prospect of Jan Morgan playing well, right? So if he can
Mm,
quickly get in place 20 balls, he can quickly score 50, 60
yeah.
runs.
Uh,
So who do you think would be coming good on the maximum run score today?
I think it's again Josh Butler emerges as a favorite for that role as well for number of runs scored too. But if someone is looking to break the order and surge ahead, then Rassi Van der Dussen would be an interesting pick as well.
Yeah, so that's going to be my pick, Rassi Van der Dussen. Yeah. And the next one is wickets. So it will be interesting to see if Shamsi is among wickets today.
Mm. I think with
Would
especially with Kagiso Rabada not playing, Sam Curran is also has also improved because he's the only one who's a reliable death bowler in that 11 with Jofra Archer also coming back from injury. So it's considering the deck that supports pace bowlers, maybe it will be a wise idea to go with pace bowler.
so Sam Curran is the pick for the bowler to pick up the max number of wickets.
Mm,
So here we are. Join the contest. The contest starts in about 20 minutes when the
mm,
game begins.
mm,
There are still about 100 plus entries.
mm.
Go ahead and join the contest before it fills out. So it's a cash prize contest. Total
Yeah,
prize pool is 5,000 rupees.
free
With
to enter
the
as well.
first prize winner, I'm sorry.
Mm. Free to enter as well.
Yeah, it's free to enter. As we just did, entered with coins that are given to you by the Finex app. The
Mm,
second prize winner gets 1,000 rupees. Third prize winner, the third place winner gets 500.
mm.
And there are as many as 15 winners, right? So you just join with coins, and you have a high probability of winning cash.
Yeah.
So coming to the 11, let's see whether that's announced. So Miller has said he's just going to enjoy themselves and play positively. Great to be back in Newlands. Feels electric.
This is always a problem
So
finding the right.
ABD is in the commentary. That's great.
Uh,
You're saying that looks from 160 to 180.
mm, Still waiting for the
So we are
11.
ready to see the 11 from both the teams.
Mm. We need to
Sorry.
give out the team to our subscribers as well, so that we need 11 for it. This is one of the reasons that
Yeah.
our pack today didn't have a team because there are a lot of uncertainties around who is going to play and who is not going to play, and it's we still not solved.
So let me share this sheet so that as soon as you get it, you can fill it up.
Mm.
Okay, hopefully the 11 comes out now. Still not there. It's interesting, as soon as the toss is done, they have the 11 to publish.
So this league has a rule where you could have 13 and you could decide which of the 11 plays after the toss. So I think that's the one that's creating the problem.
Okay, that's interesting. I did not know about that. So as we wait for that,
I think the trick that we could tell to our viewers who are all watching the show for 11 is that pick the new ball quicks and from both sides, which will be Duan Johnson or for example, Lungi Ngidi has a good record against right-handers, and there's Buran Hendricks. If he plays, he will be a good option as well. And after that, just pack your team with batters. There's going to be a lot of runs in this game. And captain Sam Curran, and he's going to be someone who's going to contribute with the bat and with the ball as well. So it's a no-brainer. So as soon as the 11s are out, we'll be able to give our fantasy 11.
so let me start typing the names out. So Sam Curran, the captain. So you pick Rassi Van Dorderson.
Yeah, Rassi Vanderson should play. He's in.
All right. Devil Braves.
Yeah, I think Devil Brevis is. I think it'll be a huge risk to go into this game without a batter as good as him. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but
So
he's a bit like Afridi at the moment. You don't know when he comes up and when he doesn't.
yeah.
He's still struggling with the line.
So Josh Butler definitely right.
Yeah. George Butler definitely plays.
So between Evan Jones, Miller, Ian Morgan, whom would you pick as the next batter?
I think Morgan in this form, I think he's worth a shot as well. In the 11
Got it.
Not sure. I'm not sure where Evan Jones is going to play, so that's a problem. Okay, the 11s are out on
Okay.
Cricket 4. So
Okay.
Evan Jones is not playing. It's very much. Oh, Ingidi is not there. Oh my God. There's a lot of surprises. Rassi
Oh,
Vanderderson
probably
is
the same
opening.
Australia reason. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
You also just come back mostly. Yeah.
lots of changes. So, yeah. Rassi Vanderderson, Devil Brewers. Okay. Devil Brewers and
Yeah. There you go.
Sam Curran, Rashid Khan, Duan Johnson. Okay, Rashid
So,
Khan.
so
You
we
just.
have Sam Curran, Rashid and Vander Dusson, Josh Potter, and Morgan. These are four players we have.
Just a second. I'm going to come. I'll-
Mm. Yeah, meantime, the contest is filling up. So, viewers, if you want to win cash by playing this contest, just download the app from fanex.in, and you'll get a free contest to join. And you can also join the cash contest for the MI Cape Town versus Paul Royals game starting in the next 15 minutes. And if you're watching the show, Al will also, as all we are done, Al is also recommending the players you could pick. So
Yeah.
we've gone ahead with Josh Butler and Sam Curran. So we have Sam Curran, Victor Morgan.
I think I'll just type out the 11 to our channel, the subscribers, because
Yeah,
directly
if
I
you can
think
get
that's
into the sheet, I just
mm,
at you.
mm, mm, okay.
I shared a sheet with you.
Mm,
That's been shared. Yeah, you have that sheet.
okay.
So as you type it out, I'll read Josh Butler,
Mm. George Butler and also going for Ollie Stone, Jofra Archer. So I'm just going pace heavy because that works here. Jofra Archer and
for Newlands.
Sam Curran, Duan Jansen. So these are the four bowlers that I pick right away. And
Mm-hmm.
no doubt that Rassi van der Dussen, David Miller is someone we need to take.
Very excited to see Jofra Archer back in action.
Yeah. Rickleton is in form, so if he keeps wickets, that will be useful. That's 4-8, and also going in with Linda.
So Rickleton, Josh Butler, Rassi Vander Dussen, David
Mm,
Miller,
yes,
Ollie Stone, Jofra Archer, Sam Curran, and Johan Jansen. We just need three more players.
I think I'm playing it safe here with. This is crazy. Never been to. Okay. I'll take Rashid Khan and I do not want to risk too much here. So I'll play safe. I've already taken enough risk for 4, 9, and the last two picks. This is going to be uh, yeah, Jason Roy. I'm playing that's 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. I think this is 11, 5, 6, 7, 8,
I think we have
4,
10.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Where is Butler? Rickleton is here. David Miller is here. Roy is here. Rassi Van der Dussen is here. Van Morgan. Yeah. Van Morgan. Yeah. 11 is here. Okay. I think the captain will be Sam Curran and vice captain will be Josh Butler. The strangest set of 11s I've ever seen. Good God, this is
Yeah,
done.
yeah, so this is
Okay,
thanks so much. I'll recruit Josh
okay.
Butler. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Captain and vice captain. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll just share this to our preseason
Uh,
subscribers. I think I'm already getting a lot of outrages there.
all right,
I mean, look at the 11s. Yeah, okay.
all right,
Yeah.
Al.
Hmm.
Thanks for the time today on the chat, and hopefully
Hmm.
all our viewers and subscribers have
Hmm.
a profitable game for
Hmm.
the first game between Cape
Yeah.
Town and Paarl Royals. So
Hmm.
have fun. Take care.
Okay. Bye, Count. Thank you. Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.